Hi, I'm Rachel Senes with City TV, and welcome to Inside Santa Barbara, the city's only news magazine show. We bring you up to date on the city's most significant issues, projects, and events. Today we are coming to you from Los Baños Pool. Local swimmers are making a splash here once again after the pool closed down during the summer for a major renovation. And we'll tell you more about that renovation later on in the show. But first, our top story. If you like to fly in and out of the Santa Barbara airport, you may want to know about the changes there that are about to take flight. Cleared for takeoff. The airline terminal project at the Santa Barbara airport has begun. This means a bigger and better terminal.
The new terminal is going to be to the south of the existing terminal so that the existing terminal can stay in operation while we're constructing it. It'll be a two-story structure. We'll have the passenger loading and security will all be at a single location on the second story. There will be bathrooms in the hold areas with concessions. We'll have the rental cars in the same building, and the building's gone through a rigorous review process now, so it should be a great new building.
The terminal was last expanded in 1976, when annual passenger traffic was 398,000 compared to today's 820,000 passengers. Because traffic has more than doubled since then, a larger terminal means better accommodation. The airport's aviation facilities plan evaluated the size needed for the airline terminal based on forecasted passenger use through 2015.
A lot of people have been very interested in maintaining the Santa Barbara experience and the charm of the existing small terminal. So we've gone to a lot of effort to maintain that. But really most of the tangible things would be modern conveniences that most air travelers would expect at any modern terminal.
The elements of this two-story modern terminal will prove convenient for passengers and even their families or friends waiting for their arrival or departure.
As you enter the building, there'll be a ticketing lobby where all the airlines will have their ticket counters, and there will be bag claim and rental cars in one section of the first floor of the terminal. And then going straight through from the front door toward the air side, we'll retain an outdoor patio similar to what we have today. Then going upstairs, passengers will have the option of an elevator, escalator, or stairs, go through security, and that's where the secure hold room and gates will be. We'll also have probably smaller concessions outside the secure area, so people who want to see their family off or meet them will have the opportunity to get a cup of coffee or a snack.
But a project as big as this one will mean temporary changes along the way. The biggest change will probably be during the first phase of construction of the airline terminal project, when the loop road will be rerouted through this existing short-term parking lot. This change will allow construction for the new terminal loop, which will have plenty of room for people to come and go.
Will be a lot longer than the existing one with much more curb space. There will be separate lanes for shuttle buses and taxis, public transportation.
While the short-term parking lot will be reconfigured, there will not be any significant changes to the long-term parking lot. The project also includes aircraft parking ramp reconstruction. Also, accommodation for 4 passenger loading bridges will improve access to aircraft for people with disabilities, seniors, and families with small children.
I think with the new terminal, it will be beautiful and it will have charm, but also it will have all the modern conveniences inside of it that a passenger would expect.
The airline terminal project is scheduled to be completed by 2011. While the recent renovation of Los Baños included the removal and replacement of the deep end pool wall, new pool plaster, and lane line marker tiles. Well, from the street, they may seem like ordinary houses and office buildings, but to the city, they are exemplary. Up next, Chris Bell reveals the secret behind what makes these structures so powerful.
The The city of Santa Barbara thinks solar energy is a bright idea, and they want you to be able to see the light. As part of its ongoing effort to reduce fossil fuel consumption and help combat climate change, the city signed on to the Million Solar Roofs initiative. Established in 1997, the goal of the initiative is to see 1 million new solar energy systems installed in the U.S. by 2010.
What's happening throughout the country is that there's different partnerships that have been formed to get those goals met on a local basis. So locally, the Community Environmental Council, the city, different solar contractors, and Southern California Edison have been working together on ways that we can remove barriers to solar panel installations and have 750 panels as the goal for the county of Santa Barbara to be installed.
To help achieve that goal, the city has established a number of strategies to make going solar as easy as possible, including streamlining the permitting process.
If someone comes in with a complete set of plans that are ready for review to the building counter, they can usually get an approval that same day.
It takes me about 45 minutes to get a permit now. The cost is down for the actual permit. My time that I have to charge the customer is down, so it makes the jobs quicker. They go in quicker. We don't have to wait around. Fewer phone calls, and I'm real happy.
The city has also created a brochure with the Community Environmental Council that guides applicants step by step through the entire process.
From getting educated, looking at your site, solar access, to considering aesthetics, and then getting in contact with a contractor, applying for your building permit, and then, of course, the whole process for reserving rebates with the state and then getting the refunds on those after you're done, as well as then working with Southern California Edison to making sure that you're getting the proper credits once your system is installed.
It's handy for me. It saves me a lot of questions. When I get inquiries, a lot of times I'll just mail those out.
The city would like all those new solar energy systems to be efficient and harmonize with its high aesthetic standards. So they've created solar energy system guidelines that offer a number of techniques to improve the look of solar panel installations or hide them altogether.
You can oftentimes install panels behind a building where there's good southern exposure that's not visible from the street, or you can mount the panels close to the building roof, paint the frames to match the building or the roof.
To recognize owners who have followed the guidelines and to provide examples of good solar energy system installations, the city created the Solar Awards.
We really see these as leadership projects because when people again see that, wow, they've got both an efficient system and it's really well integrated with their building, or gee, I didn't even realize it was there, it was on their backyard or whatnot where we couldn't see it, then it really encourages other people to follow the leads.
In keeping with the theme, the best of these solar superstars received plaques created by artist Brian Chandler and the Sun. And because of its nature, the award may be the only way you know there is something solar going on.
We're trying to get from the point where people are saying, good for them for being environmental with those solar panels, but that look isn't for me, instead to my solar panels look great.
The real reward, however, is found in electricity meters quietly spinning backwards, putting money into owners' pockets, and keeping greenhouse gases out of the air.
Tune into City TV Channel 18 in the next few months for our special program on solar power. Well, election time is fast approaching, and come November 4th, the citizens of Santa Barbara will have a number of important choices to make. Up next, we'll tell you about one of those choices called Measure G. And as you'll see, it may touch nearly every part of your life, from the streets you drive on to calling 911. Water, natural gas, trash, electricity, telephone, and cable TV. Currently, all Santa Barbara residents pay a 6% tax on these utilities. It's called the Utility Users Tax, or UUT. The revenue from this tax is used to pay for city services. If we look at just the telephone and cable TV portion of the UUT, the revenue in 2008 totaled about $5.4 million. 50% of this revenue goes to the city's general fund.
The general fund is what most taxpayers and citizens would think of when they think of local government. It covers public safety, police and fire. It covers parks and recreation, libraries, some of the administrative departments, community development. Basically, it covers those governmental services which are tax supported.
The other half of the revenue goes to the Streets Fund, which includes the maintenance and repair of city streets and roads. When citizens head to the polls this November, Measure G will ask voters to reauthorize and update the city's utility users tax only on telephone and cable TV. This means two things, a reduction and a modernization. First, Measure G means a reduction. Measure G will reduce the tax rate from 6% to 5.75% on the city's existing utility users tax on telephone and cable TV. Second, Measure G will modernize that tax to be consistent with new federal and state laws and update definitions so all taxpayers are treated the same.
Our utility tax ordinance has been in place since the 1970s, and as everyone knows, technology has changed pretty dramatically since that time. And by modernizing it, we will be picking up certain technologies for telephone and cable TV that we currently don't cover.
So what will be taxed and what won't be taxed under the new Measure G? Let's start with cell phone usage. If you have a data plan on your BlackBerry or smartphone, this will not be affected. It is not taxed now and will not be taxed if Measure G passes. In other words, the ability to get on the internet and send or receive emails via your cell phone will not be taxed. International calls are currently not taxed. Under Measure G, the UUT will be expanded to international calls. What about the ability to hop on a computer and access the internet? Logging on to the internet is not taxed now and will not be taxed under Measure G. For example, if you get high-speed or dial-up internet access through a company like Verizon, AOL, or Cox Communications.
There's a federal law in place that doesn't expire until 2014, which prohibits all local taxes for internet access. Measure G makes it clear in the ordinance that internet access will not be taxed, so that even if at some future time federal law changes and allows local governments to tax internet access, our utility tax would not apply to internet access, whether it be at your home or on your cell phone.
If Measure G passes, it will also affect internet-based telephone services, which places your telephone calls over a broadband internet connection instead of a regular phone line. Here are some of the companies that offer internet-based telecommunication services. So, if you have cable TV, telephone, or cell phone service, passage of Measure G will reduce the tax rate on those services from 6% to 5.75%. On the other hand, Measure G will expand the tax to cover newer telecommunication and video technologies. It is estimated that lowering the UUT rate and expanding the UUT to newer telecommunication and video technologies will maintain the current level of $5.4 million in revenue for city services. More than 150 cities in California have a utility users tax. Over the past couple of years, at least 26 cities have successfully modernized their telephone and cable television utility users tax by voter approval. Measure G needs a majority vote to pass. For more information on Measure G, go to the city's website, santabarbaraca.gov, and click on the quick link called Measure G. Well, many local groups use this pool for practice and competitions like City College and the Santa Barbara Swim Club, Masters, and youth teams. And speaking of local youth, the city's Youth Apprenticeship program is going strong. The program matches local students ages 14 to 21 with jobs in different city departments. And City TV's own youth apprentice, Darren Carreño, caught up with some of his peers as they took new careers for a test drive.
These youth are not just planting trees, they're growing their future.
It's like easy job, and it's kind of fun because you're just outside instead of being home all day.
With the community struggling to find answers to youth violence, the City Parks and Recreation Department is providing one of the things youth advocates have been asking for most: jobs.
We're doing a program out here with the apprenticeship program. We're actually doing a restoration project.
The eucalyptus are like taking over this area and stuff, so we have to put some native trees here.
We're planting native species, coast live oak and western sycamores, to hopefully repopulate the park and push out any of the invasive Australian eucalyptus species.
The apprenticeship program's main focus is on youth ages 14 to 21.
Most of them actually need that extra care, that extra attention, where they have a lot of spare time and they actually have a lot of different things going on in their lives that they can actually deter themselves from, and this program is one of the things that can help them.
Like, it's keeping me out of trouble. I mean, instead of just going home, popping my mom and be like, hey, I'm going to go out with my friends and be back at 10 or whenever. I mean, I'll get home, I'll do my homework, I'll help her pick up the house and stuff.
Apprentices gain valuable skills doing many of the same tasks of regular employees.
We recruit youth throughout the city of Santa Barbara within the city limits, and we try to provide them with different job positions where they can learn different training skills and other work skills opportunities.
Shelf books, put movies away, shelf read, which to make sure the books are in order. Hey, Liliana. I deal a lot with the kids because they end up getting really loud, so I have to go tell them to be quiet. I have to be the bad person here because, like, pretty good. I'm pretty much like a regular employee. It's just that my title is different. So when they gave me the job, I asked my supervisor if it was okay if I could still stay all year round.
For Janet and some of the other hardworking apprentices, the answer was yes.
They're good workers in general. They want to learn. They want to be out here. They much rather be doing something than nothing. And I think really that these kids at least are just looking for something to be interested in.
And unlike some internships, these positions pay.
They benefit from actually having to supplement their family income, which they earn money throughout the summer. They can provide for themselves, their clothing or whatever, and then they actually benefit from just being on our program because we try to help them to get back into school. So usually after every youth comes into our program, they go right back into the school because most of our jobs, even though it is a year-round program, most of our jobs they end up ending at the end of the summer because that's when most positions are available.
Apprentices also take workshops to further develop skills and promote a greater sense of community.
Do you mind if I check your permits, please?
They learn different rights that they never thought of. They learn different things about the community that they'll never see. And we actually try to get their heads into newspapers and get their heads into the community and, like, not really into the clouds.
It's helped me, like, grow a lot more. I mean, I used to be kind of responsible before, but I became a lot more responsible. As soon as I got home, I got straight to doing my homework, finishing my reports on time, and luckily I passed all my classes with really good grades, and I was pretty proud of myself. But this year I really told myself I need to take at least an hour off after I get off of school and do my homework and make sure that I'm doing really good because I'm not going to be making the same mistakes as last year.
If you or someone you know is interested in becoming a youth apprentice for the city, you can get more information on our website at citytv18.com. Honesty, integrity, respect, and sportsmanship. All these words can be used along with bogeys, pars, birdies, and eagles. In our next story, we hit the links at our local golf course to explain.
Passion, perseverance, strength, and attitude. Words that can be used in a variety of ways. But in this case, all can be used to describe the Russ Morrison Junior Golf Program.
On the scorecard, it's going to say you get relief from the tree as well. It doesn't say that.
Since its inception, the Russ Morrison Junior Golf Program has prepared young golfers to play the game of golf.
I've been playing golf for probably 10 years or more. I started when I was a little kid. I had little plastic club sets, and I finally started hitting it over the fence. So I went out to Hidden Oaks and Twin Lakes and started playing golf. Did a couple junior programs.
By participating in the program, children not only learn about golf, but more importantly, have the opportunity to meet new friends and develop as individuals.
This is kind of an entry-level program, so we really encourage kids who haven't done any golfing before to come out. That we have a lot of youngsters in the program. You know, it's fundamental golf. We're associated with the First Tee, which is a national organization. So we talk a lot about life skills and things like that.
Instruction covers all aspects of golf necessary to produce a well-rounded player. Full swing, putting, short game, trouble shots, course management, rules and etiquette.
When I started, I was kind of a little brat, and then golf, it just really helps. You get to learn life skills, and the etiquette really helps for everything.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of mental game, that's for sure, and keep it cool because you don't want to show disrespect out there when you get mad. Just got to keep it all inside.
When you're playing golf, honesty is a big deal with golf because there's nobody really completely watching over you. So, there's manners, etiquette.
You're supposed to be a gentleman or a lady on the golf course and conduct yourself as such. And it's a little different than other sports. While it's competitive and it can be aggressive in some ways, it's a very polite sport. So the kids learn, I think, that through etiquette how to conduct themselves. I think that carries over to whether they're in school or whatever they do socially.
The program is a tribute to Russ Morrison, Jr. Russ started playing golf when he was 16 and immediately showed a natural ability for the game. When Russ turned 21, he was told that he had a rare form of cancer, which resulted in the amputation of one of his legs. But that didn't stop him. After he recovered from surgery, Russ Jr. was back on the golf course, winning second place in an amputee golf tournament. Until the very last, he lived life to the fullest and played the game he loved. Every year, the program holds a golf tournament to help raise funds for the program. A junior golfer is paired with each group that plays, allowing the juniors to learn from more experienced players. But the benefits go both ways.
They get a touch of the adults, and the adults love these kids. I might say that a lot of these kids that are on the junior program that play with us, this is a team event, and we have to use one drive of everyone that's playing, and surprisingly we use the juniors a lot because they outdrive everybody.
As the Russ Morrison Junior Golf Program enters its third decade, it continues to provide youth with the opportunity to learn a game and life skills that will benefit them the rest of their lives.
Well, it's taught me a lot of teammanship, and I've been playing for the high school, so that's been good, and I've met a lot of people from all around the world, and it's been fun.
When I was younger, I was looking up to Michael Chavez, Mike Berg, Brian Helton, some older guys who went on to do some good things in college and professional golf. So hopefully I'm doing the same thing and inspiring some of the younger kids to stick with it and hopefully go to college and get a degree.
The junior program that we have here is just a second to none. Really good, really good. Just remember, Russ Morrison Junior Golf Program.
If you want to play golf at the Santa Barbara Municipal Golf Course, call 687-7087 for more information. Well, the cost to drop in and swim or use the weight room here at Los Baños is $5 or $4 for a city resident. Well, people are stopping on State Street, and it's not just because of the red lights. It's because of 8 different sculptures that have been temporarily installed as part of the 5th annual State-of-the-Art Gallery. In our next story, Jeff Goodvin shows us the sculptures and the public's mixed reaction to the art.
I find it very interesting. You know, art is always an interesting perspective.
I think they're wonderful. They're so Santa Barbara. Makes me feel so good when I walk down the street and I see art at my feet.
I like it a lot. I think it's very interesting, and it adds to the Santa Barbara ambience.
It adds enjoyment to my day. I'm glad they do this.
It's very nice. Lots of toys, lots of colors. The design of it is very interesting. I like it.
Well, we're very excited about this year's State-of-the-Art Gallery. It was curated by Dean Ains with the Acme Gallery in Los Angeles. So I think that's great in that it brings a fresh perspective.
It's definitely a help that there is a popular support that is understanding that you need to place something that doesn't function like buildings. It has another function. It speaks to your imagination.
I think it's important because I don't know if I would have done this or gone to this extent, but having a place to show it, to bring it out helps me, and seeing like, because there's always this question in your mind when you make it. You're like, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Like, what's happening with it? What do we do? And so that kind of answers those questions when you put it out in the public eye.
And I'm here to tell you today that it does not take a village to raise these sculptures. It takes the city of Santa Barbara, it takes the county, it takes the curator, 9 amazing artists.
The gallery has definitely evolved. It was initially started as a focus on, they wanted to make Santa Barbara a cultural arts destination, and when the State Street beautification project was in place in Upper State from Victoria on down, they decided to have this outdoor exhibition of sculpture, and they included sculpture pads in that. And it's been a great opportunity. It's not often that our regional artists in this area have an opportunity to show their work in such a public space.
I think it's good for the public to see artwork, but I think at this stage it's also very important that the public gets a chance to see it so that it becomes so commonplace that there isn't this need to climb on it, hurt it, damage it. It just becomes part of their everyday world. And I think when we look at art, it tends to be something short-lived because we don't have around us all the time. We should have hundreds of works on the streets of Santa Barbara. And that therefore, if you see something that you like, that's the one piece, but you don't have to like them all. You know, our job isn't to make sure that everybody likes everything.
I've seen some of the projects they had, and I didn't care for some of the art, but that's what we're supposed to do. That's our own personal persuasion. I like this one, and hopefully I'll like all the others. They'll have a meaning to me. I don't think I'd put this in my front yard, but I like this. I think it has something to say.
I think that it's wonderful to look at something and get a feeling of the naturalness of the talent that we have within us, and it's expressed right here on the street.
I like most of them this time. I respect all of it, at least in concept, and I actually find most of what I've seen personally appealing.
I do make more of an effort to walk down State Street and just see what's happening. It's always interesting to me that the kids are usually, young kids are the most receptive to accepting the art and engaging with it. But it's great to see dialogues, families talking about the artwork, and see the reaction that it generates with people walking down the street. It really makes, I think, the pedestrian corridor much more lively and interesting for the time that the exhibition is up.
And I'm so happy that there are people that are perhaps not artists themselves that understand that there is a need for this, to enrich somehow other people's imagination.
And those sculptures will remain on State Street until November 15th. Well, that does it for this month's episode of Inside Santa Barbara and our time here from Los Baños. If you feel like swimming laps, the pool is open year-round and you can enjoy the water, which is heated between 78 and 80 degrees. To find out when you can swim laps, call 966-6110. If you have any questions or comments about our show, give us a call at City TV at 564-5311. You can also watch our show online at citytv18.com. I'm your host, Rachel Alcenas, and remember to get involved inside Santa Barbara.